What is going on? It is CYM Kev from the Close Your Mouth podcast here with some hip hop news, man. This is the first time that I'm doing this, so if you guys fuck with the hip hop news, I'm gonna ask you guys to throw a like, sub up, and many more to come. But today in hip hop news, what I have to say is that Jay Electronica's debut album, Act 2, has officially leaked. I don't know where it leaked from. I don't know where it came from. Just randomly, I follow Jay Electronica on IG, and for some reason, he just started reposting everybody, posting SoundCloud links. For those of you that are not familiar with Jay Electronica, a good way or a good reference to say how he came. All right, this is. I'm just gonna let you guys know. This is raw. This is right off the cuff. Just finished listening to the album. Still kind of hyped. But just raw off the cuffs, like if you haven't heard of Jay Electronica, he is the guy that released the song Exhibit C. I believe that was like 2009 or something. I'm not entirely sure. But he released the song Exhibit C, which was a really different song that kind of went. I'm trying to find the terminology, viral around that time. It was a radio hit, even though it wasn't the traditional structure of a song, which is a verse, a hook, a verse, a hook, a verse, a hook. This here, when I first heard it, I think I was trying to think off the cuffs how old I was around that time. I was maybe let me see, in 2009, how old was I? Uh, I was a jit, bro. That's all that matters, bro. I was a youngin', bro. I remember hearing it on the radio, and this is around the time that I guess like a lot of like, I would say Kanye was on the radio. There's a lot of like a Little Wayne era and everything like that. And I first heard it and I thought it was a freestyle or a skit, to be honest, because I've never heard music like that before. I wasn't too familiar with kind of, the sound of, that commonly a lot of rappers do today, like, for an example, like Action Bronson. For those of you that are not too familiar with the underground acts, like Action Bronson does it, you might get that from an Earl Sweatshirt, like a Danny Brown, where they don't usually have a structured hook and they just go verse after verse after verse. But that's what was special about this is that, especially in a time like that where the music was a lot more trendier, it was definitely moving away from that particular hip hop aesthetic that we're known to call within the golden age for all the old heads out there. But yeah, it was different. And for those of you that don't know the song Exhibit C, I would strongly recommend you go back and listen to that. I'm telling you, he's going in on that, and it was so different from what we were accustomed to hearing around that time because the music itself wasn't, like I said, it wasn't your regular, cash money host type song. Like he was out here, he was rapping about math for all those people who are familiar with the 5% Nation. He was out here spitting really crazy bars. Just it was something different, man. It was something different for the time period. So, for those of you that are not familiar with that song Exhibit C, y'all know him as the last verse on the Control record by Big Sean. Obviously, the Control record where your boy, your boy K Dot came out there throwing shots at everybody on some Royal Rumble type shit. But but he was the last verse on that, and you could tell just by the style of the verse that he put on there, which was your traditional J Electronica verse, where you get like some spiritual references as well as something like that. He wasn't really. I could just say, just accounting for it, he definitely did not hear that Kendrick verse, just judging by the verse that Big Sean had gotten from Jay Electronica. But Jay Electronica has known to be this mysterious figure within the hip hop community, whether it be him dropping just random records like every year or giving like a crazy feature. Like for an example, like Coloring Book, like he gave Chance an outstanding feature on the song How Great, which is still one of my favorite songs to this date, or just randomly throwing out a feature here and there to people, but just staying out of the way. And this is, you got to take into account, this guy had originally dropped the song Exhibit C in 2009, and around the time that that track had released, he was then touted to be one of the next guys coming up around that time. And a moment where people had felt that hip hop was fading, they felt like Jay Electronica was the guy to bring it to the light. And Jay Electronica, granted, this was a big hit, and I'm from New York. For those of you that don't know, This was a track that was getting spinned all day on Hot 97. If you're, for all the people that, are within that age range, y'all know what it was like back in the days. When there was a hot song on Hot 97, my brother would get a cassette tape, we would record it, and then we would re-listen to the tracks over and over and over again. I'm from that kind of age. I'm way back, way back. But still, he was touted to be the next up and coming guy, and he had gotten that Jay-Z cosign signed into Rock Nation. So as soon as everyone heard Exhibit C, they were like, "Where is this debut album that we're gonna get from Jay Electronica?" Because he is the guy that is really has the potential to be one of the greatest artists or lyricists to ever grace the mic. And if anybody who's ever taken a chance out of their time or the day to just listen to a Jay Electronica track, listen to any of his former projects, whether it be Style Wars or whether it be what the fuck is a Jay Electronica, or even if you go back to SoundCloud and you listen to some of his older stuff that he has, you would know, just judging by the caliber of the bars, like I said, the spiritual references. I couldn't liken him to anything that I've heard before. I could just, pick out certain facets of his skill set and match it to people. Like for an example, I would say the aesthetic and I would say sort of the instrumentals or the samples that he rhymes over would be sort of reminiscent of a Ka. The flow, that man got a mean flow, man. He's from New Orleans too, and like back in those days, like the South was, out here with the Laffy Taffy type movements, and the music from the South wasn't too crazy back then. I mean, it wasn't being well received by New York artists, but he had a New York flow as well. He had mean cadence when he spit, and he just had just a strong flow, man. Just I can't stress it enough. He was touted to be one of the greats, one of the greats, with one record dropping and other people hearing a couple of other stuff from him as well as that Style Wars mixtape that he dropped. But still, I would say him, definitely Ka. For any of the newer listeners that know of Navy Blue, I could say the spirituality aspect of his rap is definitely reminiscent of Navy Blue, but you're going to get a lot of 5% and Nation of Islam references there. If you're unfamiliar with that, if you're not up on your lessons, you won't, be able to understand it truly. You would be like, yo, what is this guy rapping about when he's talking about Dip Dava, Civilizer 85? But if you don't know, man, you got to do your research, man. And that's the thing about it. And that's why you come to appreciate artists like that. You could tell that they took the time when it comes to putting out their music, and that you can tell that they truly take this as artistry, and this is their craft, and they sharpen their craft, and that is something that I have to give credit to him and other people that I've referenced, whether it be a Ka or a Navy Blue. You can tell people like this take their time, and it's not just the music, it is the artistry as well as the spirituality, and it's the essence of who they are putting down on a track for you and me to listen to. And you gotta you gotta give people the utmost. You gotta give them their flowers for doing that. But talking about flowers, Jay Electronica was not getting his flowers because he recently had released, and I guess this was I would assume within the March or April-ish, I believe. I'm not entirely too sure. Like I said, this is off the cuffs. This is no notes. This is just me going in. A stand of Jay Electronica talking. But yeah, I believe it was April. He had dropped a joint album with none other than Hove, Jay-Z. And just right off the cuffs, not too many people could even get a verse from Jay-Z, let alone an entire album, let alone that being his quote unquote debut album. I'm gonna get into it why I say it's a quote unquote debut album. The story behind that, which is the album that's named A Written Testimony by Jay Electronica and Jay-Z, was that Jay-Z and Jay Electronica had, I believe, taken 40 days and 40 nights to craft this project. This is 40 days and 40 nights to make one piece of art, and it was a 12. I'm just going off the cuffs. I think a 12 track project. Yeah, if I got it wrong, man, kill me in the comments, bro. I deserve it. It was an amazing project, but it wasn't getting well received from notable hip hop sources, whether it be Anthony Fantano, internet's busiest music nerd, or whether it be from uh, I'm trying to think off the head. How could I forget these people, man? Whether it be from guys like FIFO, whether it be from I think it's Dead End Hip Hop, Dead End Hip Hop. Yeah, I got it right there. Whether it be from FIFO, the Dead End Hip Hop crew guys and stuff like that, they weren't well receiving it because they thought that for a debut album, he had to bring a lot more potency to live up to the hype that was previously established for him, and they had felt like that hype had surmounted his capabilities. And on that album, in particularly, Hove was Hove was in prime form, and if anyone has listened to that, I'm a J Electronica stan. Hove was spitting. Hove was spitting. He was spitting. Okay, that was that was a level of rapping. Even though I would Jay Z is definitely in there in the discussion. You know, it's between him and Nas for me as my favorite artist. But I ain't never heard Jay Z rap like that in my entire life, man. Like Jay Z was really spazzing on that album, and it to a certain extent it kind of outshined Jay Electronica. And so he was receiving a bit of, just a bit of criticism in regards to the project that he dropped. But when I had, listened to, some of these respectable reviewers and music critics, I kind of took a step back as an understanding that the project itself was something that was created within a 40 days and 40 nights. I knew that this wasn't his notable project that he had been keeping in the cuffs that he was saving from releasing. I knew that that wasn't the particular project. So I thought that, the amount of criticism that he was receiving was kind of, was unwarranted, but I could understand considering the tremendous hype that was surrounding Jay Electronica for him to receive that criticism. And that is something that, a lot of people would say would be one of the main reasons that Jay Electronica didn't want to drop a project to begin with, is because he felt as if, the criticism living up to the hype. And then a lot of these rumors started circulating. And then, furthermore, I think he had a bit of a beef with, not Ebro, Rosenberg, in regards to some of the references that he made on his track with Synagogues of Satan. But we're not even going to get into that. Um, what I got to say here is that, just from taking the time to listen to this project, it's just one listen. I don't like to do reviews, and if you guys want me to do a review on the project, I would say I would need at least 10 to 15 likes, and I'll move forward with creating a review for you guys, and I would gladly do so. I'm just giving you my first thoughts and my first impressions in regards to the project itself, with a little bit of history on Jay Electronica as well. Um, I would say that it was a great project, man. This guy, if you listen to some of this stuff, man, it's orchestral. It's beautiful, man. It's art, man. That's what I have to say. It's truly art. As someone who's a listener, someone who's a playlist crafter, and a hip hop lover, and just a music lover, and someone who likes to write in general, I could understand the amount of time and effort that was put into crafting this, man. This is not an album, bro. This is a tome, bro. This is a tome. This is a tone, man. This is it's beautiful, man. Some tracks on there I already recognized, like Better in Tune with the Infinites was a beautiful track. I had that saved on my SoundCloud for a while now. In terms of Road to Perdition, had that saved on my SoundCloud for a minute too. He even gave us Shiny Suit Theory, which was put on the Written Testimony project, where he had a verse from Jay Z, which probably made sense why I went on the Written Testimony project. Beautiful track as well. There's a couple of tracks like that off the cuffs, but some of the newer release tracks, which I would have to say is Bonnie and Clyde, was, whew. So it's a grade A spitting, man. It's beautiful, man, and honestly, just truly happy, just as a fan, as a lover of hip hop, as a lover of art, as a lover of writing, to see, such a good quality project like this drop. I had originally had a Written Testimony as a stand as one of my favorite projects to drop from the year, and I'll just give the rest of my other five. I had Alfredo, um, and I also had Descendants of Cain, which I had previously spoken about before, and I had Run the Jewels 4, as well as, I'm trying to remember off the cuffs what was my last one. It'll come to me, man, but A Written Testimony was definitely up there as one of my favorite projects of the year, just for this to come out and for it to, go leaps and bounds above it. So I'm just curious to see what the rest of the music community has to say about this. What do you guys have to think about it? What do you guys have to say about it? What was your favorite track on the project? What was your least favorite track on the project? Just keep it a buck. Just have a nice forum to speak and discussion. About hip hop. This is what I love. This is what I'm into. This is what I like to, you know, just get into, man. So if you guys really enjoyed this, I would like to, just ask you guys to throw me a like, sub up, and just judging by the response of this, we can make a couple more, music vids. All right, this is Kev. I'm signing out. Peace.